Alright, pumping out another review here. And I have stripped down to my t-shirt because just the thought of talking about this movie, and I'm like, yeah, it's time to, remove the gloves, so to speak, because Home Alone 4, in short, can suck my ass. This movie sucks. This movie is garbage. This movie is trash. And DJ Donnelly, you wanted me to talk about this movie? Well, I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to rip it a new one. But this film, the plot, Kevin McAllister, played by a different actor here, not Macaulay Culkin, because by this point, he is too damn old. But in the film here, the parents have split up. He's living with his mom. His dad is married to this rich girlfriend that has a mansion. But Kevin McAllister wants to spend time with his dad for Christmas. And meanwhile, you have the robbers. They come back. Which one of them is... It's weird. One of them is the villain of the first two movies. And he has a new criminal partner named Vera. And they plan to take this mansion. And that's the plot to the film here. And the cast here. You have the main kid. Did I write his name down? Yeah, Kevin. So this Kevin McAllister is played by Mike Weinberg. So Mike Weinberg is Kevin. So you have a new actor playing Kevin McAllister. And it just doesn't work. The kid is annoying. The kid is a pest. You have the character of Marv. Which is weird because Joe Pesci plays the character of Harry. But this is what is weird. So French Stewart plays the character of Marv. He resembles Harry, but his character's name is Marv. And you have his sidekick, Vera, who's played by Missy Pyle. The father in the film is played by Jason Begg. The butler in the film? The butler is played by Eric Avery. And this guy you've seen before in quite a few movies. I remember he was in Independence Day. He was in The Mummy. He was in Encino Man. No Reason to Juice. That guy. And yeah, he plays this butler, Prescott. And the movie just overall has this very cheap, made-for-TV feel. Back in the day, for people that remember the Saban company, like this was made by Saban. It had to have been. If it's not, it definitely feels like it. And what's unfortunate about Home Alone 4 is that this movie was directed by Rod Daniel. And people are like, who's Rod Daniel? This guy directed some decent movies back in the day. He directed Teen Wolf, Michael J. Fox. He directed K-9 with James Belushi, Beethoven 2. And he directed some other stuff. And this was his last movie. He closes out his career with this. A fourth Home Alone that has no Macaulay Culkin. That has no Joe Pesci. Daniel Stern was offered to come back. And he called this movie garbage. And he said it was an insult. And I don't blame Daniel Stern. I don't blame him one bit. Yeah, he rejected the movie. So, yeah, good on Daniel Stern. But throughout the movie, Kevin, he's in this fancy house, this mansion. His dad is married to this rich woman, or soon to be married. And this house is a smart house. Everything is voice activated and voice command. Doors and different parts of the house. And it's not... From what I remember, really throughout the movie, like Kevin is not really setting traps here. It's more about the robbers that are trying to get in, and he's using the house to fight back by either voice commands to shut this door, or, this would happen, or, for example, you have this high-tech shower, and because there's this one scene in the film where a shower floods and it floods the entire house. And yeah, the robbers are flooded out of the house because of the shower, which, and by then, the father doesn't believe Kevin. Now I'm like, okay, so it's the same characters, the same father, the same robbers. So the father of the film, if these are the same characters, you even have the character of Buzz in here who was played by a different actor. So it's the same characters, the same everything. The first two movies have taken place, but still the father doesn't believe Kevin that somebody's trying to break into this mansion, when in the first movie he left him home alone, to fight off these robbers. And he left him in New York City in the second movie to fight off the wet bandits. And the father doesn't believe Kevin at all after what has happened in the past. I mean, you got to be kidding me. And the wife, when Kevin floods the house, which you would think that the girlfriend would get, mad, like very angry. She just kind of brushes it off. And then like later on you get into like they have a little bit of a party scene. It gets to a point where Kevin thinks that the butler is in on it. And it's an inside job and the butler's part of the plan. Like he's helping out the robbers. But it's really the housekeeper. It's the housekeeper who is the mother of Marv here in the film. And I need a drink. Because talking about this movie will wear you out. And it's starting to wear me out. So, yeah, Kevin insinuates that the butler is part of it when it's the housekeeper. And, really by the third act is when I really started to tune out and I forget what happens. And everything just became a blur by the third act. The finale of the film, when he stops the robbers, it all becomes a blur. Because by this point, I was just ready to stop watching. I was ready to move on from this movie. Let me watch another film. I need a good movie cleanse. Because this movie sucks. Home Alone 4, Taking Back the House. Can I get my time back? Can I get the hour and a half back that I wasted on this movie? However long it is. Hour and 20, hour and 30. But, yeah, this movie is just garbage. Home Alone 3, which, I know there's a few people out there that like the movie. Back in the day, I watched that quite a bit. I mean, nowadays, I'm not too big on the film. I would say more back then, I was more into it being younger. Home Alone 4 makes Home Alone 3 look like the first movie. After watching Home Alone 4, then I'm like, I want to go back and revisit Home Alone 3 because maybe Home Alone 3 is not that bad compared to Home Alone 4. And especially Home Alone, what was the one that came out 2 years ago? Home Sweet Home Alone, which was awful. I don't know why they needed that many Home Alones, especially knowing that Macaulay Culkin wasn't going to come back. But honestly, all you needed was the first two movies, but they continue to make them. Yeah, but this movie just... Whew. I don't know what else to say here. And get into my overall thoughts on Home Alone 4. It's a very pointless and cheap sequel. From the director Rod Daniel, who directed Teen Wolf and K-9 back in the day, closes out his career with this hot garbage. And it's one of the worst sequels that I've seen. So avoid this movie. Avoid this film. But DJ Donnelly, I hope you enjoyed this review and rant on Home Alone 4. Yeah, this movie is just hot garbage. But thank you for watching, and have a good day.